Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling Review series. We are moving into the month of August, and we have all of the month of August to share. 5 episodes from August of 1991 is here as we build towards SummerSlam 1991. Natural disasters on tap, among other things. And we open with the Rockers. Rockers kind of struggling, don't really have a major program. Enhancement talent here for them, and Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, obviously a big deal from 88 through 91, 80, maybe late 80s, yeah, 88 through 91. So, I mean, to think that they, you know, were a team for near 4 years, by the time maybe closer to five, almost five, 4.5 maybe, by the time they split up, is a pretty big deal. Jannetty sends his adversary to the outside and hit the super kick on one. Super kick still a big deal. Shoulder tackle by Michaels on the outside of the ring as well on one of the opponents. Jannetty is always looking good, always looking uh, polished here. He doesn't really fall apart till later. They do kind of a sky high press type maneuver. 1, 2, 3, and there we go. We recap the return of Jake Roberts onto the funeral parlor. And then Jake puts the Ultimate Warrior in the casket that The Undertaker had put him in before. They show the Warrior symbol. They show the casket being tied up, locked up. Warrior is nervous about this. Finally says he does trust the Snake Man, which in a couple of weeks is going to prove to be a bad idea, but not known at the time. Anyway, Jake convinces him to lie down. This is crampy but creepy at the same time. Crampy because it's goofy, targeted to kids, but at the same time to be closed in an airtight casket even for a few seconds. Warrior sits up coming out of the casket with a look of devastation and determination in his eyes. And basically, Jake says he has the look of the Undertaker in his eyes now. Brooklyn Brawler up next in an enhancement match with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. They actually have a few matches around the horn at the time. Steamboat, of course, blowing fire. Unfortunately, doesn't last very long. I think he's left by September, October of the same year, something like that. Anyway, does the through the legs. Steamboat is my all-time favorite babyface, so I'm partial to Ricky Steamboat. Although I'll be the first to admit that this does not work out well for him in terms of a future. We see, shots across the middle. We see chops and a top rope chop by the Dragon. Eventually, we do see a crossbody. Dragon gets a victory. The Mountie promises to teach the Big Boss Man respect. Boss Man basically vows to do the same and carry out justice in SummerSlam in the Jailhouse match. I honestly, looking back, maybe it's because I've got nostalgia for it as a kid, but one of my favorite gimmick matches of all time is this Jailhouse match. There's enough comedy in it, but it looks devastating. I loved this match as a kid. Eventually, I'm going to cover every pay-per-view in history. That's going to be like a 600, 700 part single show series. But anyway, I'm actually looking forward to going back and checking out SummerSlam 91 because it was a really cool show looking back at it. Anyway, the natural disasters are here, Earthquake and Typhoon. Of course, Typhoon turning just a few short weeks ago. Big back body drops on him. They don't really have an angle yet. They do eventually move into one with LOD in the fall. But big power slam by Earthquake. The other enhancement talent tries to come in. Both of the natural disasters come in. And we see a big splash by Typhoon, a big splash by Earthquake, and the natural disasters are wandering right along. We see a Hogan and Warrior, promo with Mean Gene Okerlund on the podium. They talk about the bond between the Hulkamaniacs and the Warriors, talk about eradicating the needlessness of Slaughter and Friends. Sid Justice comes out, of course, aka Sid Vicious. He's going to be the special referee. He says he might be a Hulkamaniac, he might not. The Warrior might be at his level of intensity, he might not. Gene Okerlund basically tries to intimate that he may be a Hulkamaniac in hiding, and Justice says all he cares about is that justice is served. Hogan, of course, still in the middle of his third WWF Championship reign there. Undertaker out next. Interesting that they're programming those two right together. When you look at the subliminal nature of how things were planned, even segment wise, Undertaker is the one that eventually defeats Hogan later in '91 for the championship. But that's a pretty big thing. I mean, they're already putting them in back-to-back segments here in August. So the subliminal nature of it is there. Undertaker punches, kicks, and really basic stuff. You're not going to get, heavy stuff out of him. Big body slam and eventually a tombstone by the Undertaker. Undertaker using the body bag as he is doing a series of body bag matches around the horn with the Ultimate Warrior at this time, summertime. And then we see almost the same promo, Greg Valentine promising to get rid of IRS. And Ted DiBiase basically saying that he's going to hold on to the $1 million belt. The closest Virgil will ever get to it is the fact that he got to hold it for DiBiase back when he was his bodyguard for years. And then we go into hyping of SummerSlam report. The Nasty Boys and the Legion of Doom Road Warriors are going to be in a street fight. Nasty Boys say they've got to bring everything they've got because the Nasty Boys are going to, and they don't think that the painted up LOD can handle them. We then get, more hype. Mr. Perfect promises to, handle Bret Hart. He admits that he may be one of the best ever, but he's not perfect. Then we go into another hype for the match between DiBiase and Virgil. Virgil promises to make DiBiase Crow, promises to take him out, and DiBiase basically says, he's going to be riding in a limo, but Virgil's going to be driving in a yellow cab, basically trying to put even more of a wedge between their overall level of financial security. Sergeant Slaughter out next in an enhancement match. Slaughter by here starts to look really slow. I mean, I think that's part of the reason they get the enhancement match out of the way, or the SummerSlam main event out of the way, because I don't imagine he's going to go that much further. Slaughter actually takes on multiple people and punch, kick, brawl, really basic stuff, a few body slams, but Slaughter pulls him up. Slaughter showing his arrogance, hits the camel clutch, gets the victory. He likes punishing people at this point, and the 2-on-1 nature is just to show the viciousness of Slaughter. We go to more hype for the SummerSlam event, and we've seen this promo from Mr. Perfect, who promises to beat Bret Hart at SummerSlam. Basically, they're rerunning promos now. Andre and the Bushwhackers talk about Andre getting revenge on the Earthquake for the injured knee and the putting out of the natural disasters. That is that for this particular episode. We'll be back with more right after this.